Hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Jackie. I am a human services student at Western. Before we get started with our session today, there's a few things that I need to go over. So first thing, under HIPAA, this session is going to be everything we say and everything that we talk about will be confidential. Everything that you tell me will stay private, with one exception. Your insurance company needs to know how many sessions we have, how long they are, and then any diagnoses that we may identify. The second thing is that I'm a mandatory reporter, which means that if you divulge anything to me that could put you or others in risk of hurting themselves, that means that I need to report it. Do you have any questions about that? All right, great. So we can get started. It's nice to meet you. I told you a little bit about myself. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell me why you're here today?
My name's Jake. I go to Western. I'm here just because I'm super stressed out about my internships right now.
Okay, all right. It sounds like you're a little bit nervous about your internships. Do you want to tell me more about what's stressing you out?
Okay, so I want this really competitive internship, right?
Right, okay.
It's with the public defender's office. There's only 2 internships and it's super competitive and it's really hard to get into. And I'm just really worried about getting it.
Yeah, that sounds really stressful. You say that it's a really competitive internship. That means that it's only 2 positions. That's really cool though that you're going for that. What has you interested in the public defender's office?
Well, I want to go into law
Okay.
after I finish my BA. And so I want the public defender's office to be on my resume because it'll look really good if I have experience with lawyers, I have experience with clients, and then also I will be able to get to learn a lot about that specific field.
Right. That's really cool. So you're interested in law. That's awesome. So are you worried about getting into the internship or worried about connecting with the people for the internship?
I'm not worried about connecting with the people for the internship. So when I went to the internship fair, it turned out that I already knew one of the women who was
Cool.
interviewing. And so I met with her and like we got along really well, and I talked to her and she talked to me, and like I wanted to know what qualities would make me like a good intern.
Right.
And we meshed really well, and then I talked to the other person who was there and we had a really good talk, and I sent in an email the next day saying, hey, I'm really interested in this position, thank you for your time, let me know, like stuff like that.
Great. That's awesome. So you reached out to them, you followed up. It sounds like you are really on top of your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
What's making me really nervous though is I've already gotten a bunch of emails from other places, and I'm getting nervous that if I don't apply to them or respond to them in like enough time that I'm not going to have that chance anymore. And then because the internship that I want is so competitive, what if I don't get that?
Right. So you're worried about balancing the one that you want versus the people who've already reached out to you. Because you have to do a few different internships, right? That makes a lot of sense. So how do you feel about the people who've reached out? Do you know what you want to do about that?
I think that I want to apply for them, but I'm really nervous that if I do get the public defender's one, that I won't be able to go back to them afterwards.
Right.
If I say no, because they'll be like, oh, he's flaky,
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like you're worried about what they'll think of you in the way that you respond. Have you talked with other people who've done similar things, who've had a lot of different opportunities and have had to say no to other internships?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Do you think that would be a good idea?
That might be a really good idea. I know that within the Human Services program, there's a lot of different people who've done a variety of internships, and because we have to do so many, people reach out to a lot of different internships, like you were talking about, and applying, but not necessarily. You only get to pick one, right? So maybe talking with other people who've been in similar situations might be helpful. That's really cool. So what is the next step for you for the public defender's office? It sounds like you've reached out to them.
I just have to wait for them to like give a reply. Nancy had mentioned how one of the people who's on the board is going to be on vacation for a week, and so I feel like that's probably why they haven't gotten back to me.
Right.
But at the same time, that's still super stressful because what if they don't get back to me, or what if I'm not actually what they're looking for?
Yeah, because it sounds like you're under a time constraint,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, that's really stressful. I'm glad that you know that they're on vacation, though. It doesn't make your stress any less stressful, but you have a little bit of context.
Mhm.
Very cool. So, what happens after school? What do you want to do with law?
So I'm thinking that because I'm super poor, I don't know if I'll be able to afford law school. So I'm thinking about doing a law apprenticeship, which is like similar to that, except
Okay.
you work directly with an attorney or you work directly with a judge, and you do that for 4 years instead of going to law school for 3 years.
Okay.
And then after that, you're like doing your studying and stuff, but you don't have to pay for like credits or anything.
Right.
And after your apprenticeship is done, you're eligible to take the bar exam.
That's really cool. So it sounds like you have done a lot of research into like how you can make this a reality. That's really cool. So, yeah, and if you're eligible for the bar in the same way as someone that's going to law school and you're getting real life experience for 4 years, it sounds like you're gonna have a lot of stuff to be able to go off of. That's really cool.
The only issue with that is I won't be eligible for like prestigious positions in like private practices because of just like how a lot of people in law are.
Interesting. Can you tell me more about that? I don't know a lot about law.
So it's a very it's like a very prestigious practice, and it's sort of a boys' club. And so the first question you'll get in interviews with like private practices is, oh, where'd you go to law school? And if you don't have a place like Harvard or UW or like any of those super prestigious schools, it's going to be really hard to get a position. And because I'm not necessarily in it for monetary reasons right now, that's super fine with me because I want to be like a prosecutor. But the issue is, after a certain point, I'll like, what if I burn out and then I want to go into private practice and I want to be able to make money and like, you know, just sort of enjoy my life.
Right. So it sounds like you're a little bit worried about what happens after. Because it's really, I think it's really cool that you want to be able to go into law and it sounds like make a difference. You want to be a prosecutor. That's really cool. But it is really stressful to think about what's going to happen after that. Yeah, that's really cool though. So what made you want to be a prosecutor? Is there a reason for that, or?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know about plea bargains, but in America, in our judiciary system, we have this act called plea bargaining. And basically, it gives prosecutors the ability to make a plea bargain for whatever you want to end your case before it goes to trial. That has been abused by a lot of prosecuting attorneys because they'll give people a plea bargain to where you'll only get like 18 months in jail if you accept this felony versus like 5 to 10 years, or in some cases like 13 years, because we have a system of mandatory minimums.
Right. But then that means that they're a convicted felon if they take the plea bargain. Yeah, I don't know as much about that as you, I think, but that I know a little bit, and that's a really frustrating situation. So is that something that you want to tackle as a prosecutor?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do, because we also have a system called like therapeutic court systems, and what they do is they take a therapeutic approach to crime versus like a corporal approach.
Right, like a punitive? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And you told me earlier that you were into drug court. Is that something that goes with that, or?
Yeah, they go hand in hand. One of the people that has to sign off on going to any therapeutic court, including drug court, is the prosecuting attorney.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, the district prosecutor has to go and sign off on anything before they can do that.
That's really cool. So you would be the person that would allow them to be able to go to drug court in places that are less focused on punitive action and more focused on rehabilitation. That's really cool. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're interested in that. And it sounds like what you're doing right now in school and trying to get into the public defender's office is exactly what you need. And I can understand why you're really stressed about that, because it seems like it's a really big opportunity for you. Very cool. I'm going to look and see what our time is right now. It looks like we're at 10 minutes, so
Okay,
we're going to end the
perfect.
session.
All right,
Great,
thank
thanks
you.
for meeting with me.
Thank you. It was so great.